So something that has been like over the last, I don't know, probably what are you pointing to?
I was stretching my arm.
Dude, don't put your fucking hand near me.
My hand.
I'm trying to give me hand signals down here. So something that is actually of the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's come up to me over and over and over, is how many people are not prepared for the struggle of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Yeah, like forget about scaling for a minute and just talk, that information is so readily available right now. People can go on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they can go buy a course, they can do all this stuff, and they gain a little bit of knowledge. Kind of like the video we were just looking at, knowledge is not understanding. And I think it's shocking and quite frankly very unfortunate how many people go into entrepreneurship, go start a business, and have no idea that they're going to get hit, and they're going to get hit hard. And so therefore, that when that first hit, that first struggle, that first hiccup in the business comes along, their asses are gone, right? An analogy that I've been using in the last few weeks, and I don't know where it came from, probably thinking about our buddy Pat Precourt, who absolutely loves MMA fighting. He gets in the ring multiple times a week. And you think about the mentality that guy goes into. Like, I've never done it. And part of the reason I've never done it is because of what I'm about to share, is the simple fact that I don't want to get hit in the face. Like, I'm just not excited about somebody trying to beat the shit out of me. That does not excite me at all. But that dude literally loves it. Like, he'll tell you that he feels the most alive when he goes in, as I think he's like 49 years old, when he gets into the ring and knows some dude is about to square off and punch him square in the face. But if you really think about it, that's entrepreneurship. Like, you gotta want to get hit.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta want to go through the struggle knowing how much that's going to help you. Like, you can read as many books and watch as many videos and go to as many seminars as you want on becoming a UFC fighter. But shit all changes when you step in the ring and some dude squares off and hits you. I don't care how much you think you know, how many courses you've taken, until you get hit, you don't know shit. You agree?
I agree. I think are we just shooting? We're just going?
Yeah.
Are
you fucking kidding me right now? You didn't even know we're shooting?
No, you kind of started. I feel like there wasn't a proper introduction. So
this is why we have intros that go in before.
I was going to do an introduction.
Intro now.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the new podcast called Scale, featuring Los, Hustle, Silva, and Kent Clothier, also known as KC. This is brought to you by Truly. Truly is a hard seltzer. It's not actually brought to you by it, but I'm going to be drinking it while we're here. This is a podcast that we are creating because we used to have a podcast called Freedom Strategies. Frankly, we were both just lazy and uncommitted, and even though it was what people have said to be the highest rated and funniest business podcast of 2017, we did stop. And so now we're bringing it back. The podcast is going to be called Scale. It's also going to be very funny because it's got a lot to do with me. I'm the co-host, and I'm witty and charming, and I bring a lot more than just business knowledge.
Clearly, I'm not the funny one.
And then you also have Kent, who is very, very well versed in business, and he also has a little bit of comedic relief. And so now back to what we were talking about, which is the struggle of entrepreneurship. So with that, I think that you have to be a masochist to be in this business.
It's actually a good word for it.
Yeah, like I think I'm kind of masochistic. Like,
I actually think I like the struggle.
It's dark, man, but like, I mean, I've gone through a lot of ups and downs, and like at this point, like it doesn't even faze me. Honestly, like I feel almost at center.
Why do you think you love the struggle?
I feel centered. I feel like, I don't know, because I don't know. That's I don't have an answer. I don't love it, but I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, but do you ever find yourself like when things are getting a little
too good, you freak out?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's an anxiety attack for me. And if it's not going good, that's going like terrible, but you're like, oh, we need to fix this. I'm like, all right, I got it. Like, let's round the troops. I feel more like, let's get this money.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Exactly. But when you're crushing
this is when I'm going to prove what I'm worth.
When you're crushing it, you're like, for sure something's going to happen. Like, what's going to happen? What do we do? And then you also, I guess you kind of F it up, right? And you're like, oh shit, it did happen. Like, what do we do? And you're like, all right, I got this. I've done this before. And then you can go fix the thing.
Seriously.
Yeah, but that is the move.
It's the dumbest thing ever, but it's just true that when hard times are hitting, for some reason, like I've trained my brain to get into a place where I'm like, I got this. This is where I got to prove what I'm worth. I got to step up.
I think that's the only. I guess there's people that just do mediocrely, but overall, there's people who want it all and they just don't work for it. And then there's people who want it all and they will stop at nothing to achieve it. Like we both have coaching programs. One of the things that I've talked to a bunch of other people, same as you, that all have coaching programs and businesses, and a lot of times like people go through almost like dumpster diving in these things, right? Like they buy yours, they buy mine, they buy his, and like, oh, none of these idiots work. None of their stuff works. And like we know all these guys, like honestly, their stuff does work. Our stuff works. It's fine. It works. You know what doesn't work, you lazy motherfucker? It's you. It's you wanting this like immediate, like, oh, it's not free. Oh, it's super fast. Oh, it's not going to take me 3 days. When do I get the 25K? When do I get the 10K?
Yeah, I mean, I actually have to work.
It's you, dude. It's not us.
But I think that's a huge thing, dude. I mean, I think that if you don't change that, like most people are not programmed naturally to think that way.
Right.
Like you have to, that takes, unfortunately, like I was saying earlier, unless, I don't care how much education you got, unless you actually go through the grind. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. That's what teaches you.
There's nothing that you can learn on a course or a thing, because you can learn it, but also, I firmly believe that you and I can have the exact same business, the exact same model, and it will work totally different, because I am me and you are you. Now it can't be the exact same. Sure, I can rip some stuff, but overall, like everyone's journey, everyone's business, it's all different. Like you're not going to have the same exact results. So people think like, oh, I'm going to buy this thing, I'm going to have the same exact results. No, there's differences in you. There's differences in the pagences. There's difference in the relationship, the community, the way people are attracted to you, or whatever the case. Whether it's a product, whether it's a service. This could be this product, and then there's White Claw. White Claw's 10 times bigger than this product. I don't know the difference. I mean, they all kind of pretty much taste the same. Like they're probably doing the same exact things. What's different? Mm-hmm. That's some stuff you just can't measure. Like sometimes things blow up, sometimes things don't. How many times have you tried to do something that you thought was going to crush and it bombed, and then you throw something up and you're like, let's just see what happens, and that's the winner.
Right. But just all the time, by the way.
Yeah. It's testing.
Still to this day.
Yeah.
Drives me fucking crazy.
You don't have it figured out. No. And I think that's why we're okay with everything, because we're like, oh, it's not like I have it figured out. Like most of the time you probably think like, oh God, I feel like I don't know anything.
Well, yeah, that just goes to the point that you have to position, you're either learning or earning, right? Yeah. You have to position quote unquote failure as not failure at all. It's a lesson. Yeah. And unless you're willing to do that, then you're certainly not going to go in and be prepared to get hit as much as you are going to.
I think a lot of people shouldn't be entrepreneurs.
I agree with you.
I don't think it's I don't think you want this.
I've definitely walked into rooms, and I've definitely had people that, I mean, it's happened to me more times than I care to mention, that when they come into the room and they're talking the talk, I just know, unfortunately, it's just never going to happen. Yeah. Right? I've definitely been wrong, but I've been right more than I've been wrong. Yeah. And equally, I've had people walk in the room and, like, I just know, like, this person or these people, they got it. Like, this couple's got it. They're going to get it. I just need to get them the right information. They have the right drive, the right attitude, the right, mechanisms in place to where they're going to be able to just push through anything. They've got each other, whatever it is. And so I agree with you. There's just some people that should save their money, save their time, save the energies.
Try to become an executive somewhere. Just work really hard at that place. Let the entrepreneur.
So how do you know if you've got it or no?
I think that when.
That's a good question, by the way.
When times are hard, are you weak or are you strong? Right? Like when things get hard, when you can't cover overhead, or you can't even pay yourself because you're just a beginner kind of entrepreneur. What do you do? Are you like, oh, what do I do? Or are you just like, F it, I'm gonna stick to this thing and I'm gonna grind. How many hours are you working? It's not about working 1,000,000 hours, but I mean, if you're struggling and you don't have stuff, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is about working all those hours. How much are you trying to learn on your own? Like too many people give up and they're like, oh, it's hard, and why I didn't think it would be like this. Like, no, I don't even know what it's going to be like ever. Like no one ever does, you know. But I'm okay with all of that. I think it's fine. Like I throw, you know, offers out onto the universe or Facebook, fully expecting it to not do well for the first 20 days. I fully understand that I'm gonna go blow $5,000-$10,000. I'm like, did we get sales? No, it's all right. What do we change, right? But like I go into things with the thought of losing, not the thought of like, oh, this is a smasher.
Yeah.
I think they go into the thought of like, well, I'm gonna launch this and it's over for me. And you and I don't do that. You and I go out and we're like, well, how much do you want to lose right now? How much can we put out on this?
That's actually a really good point.
You know, and then you fix it and you're like, all right.
I mean, I'm surprised you're making a good point, but it's a good point.
We're fixing things in the air. No, I'm a very, very astute, weathered man nowadays.
And humble.
Mm-hmm. Not that humble.
Yeah,
but
not really.
But overall, I think that's the move. I also think people believe lies, and other people, you know, are teaching people fallacies. No one is saying like, hey, join this program or start this business. It's gonna be freaking hard, man. It's gonna suck.
Right.
It's probably gonna take more money than you thought. Everyone's like, build a lifestyle business, which I don't think is a real thing, unless you're at some serious level of money and doing smart things with your money. And if you got there, you didn't have a lifestyle business, bro. You probably worked your ass off on doing the thing.
To get to the lifestyle business.
So like it's just wrong. Like everyone wants to chill at a beach and be like, oh, you know, I want to work and I want to be with my family. You don't think I do? But I understand if I don't do these things.
Yeah, buying into the emotional dream is the easiest sell you'll ever make.
Right.
Right? Like, that's not hard. It's not hard to sell people bullshit and fantasy. That's super easy to do.
Yeah.
So if you're falling victim to that, then consider yourself, you know, consider the source.
You are a weak soul that if you buy into. I never got into this thinking that I was gonna not work. You know, I always got into it thinking like, well, this is how I'm gonna make money. I didn't even know how much or anything. I was just like, this is how I'm gonna pay for my life. And then if I have more, I'll make more, and I'll make more. I never thought like, yeah, I'll just do a little something light, make a bunch of money, and then I'll chill, and I'll have an email list, and I can just mail it. Mm-hmm. It's not even how that works.
Right.
Those emails die, guys. And then you have to go get more emails.
Right.
Like, you don't have a huge amount of time with those people. If you have 100,000 lists and it's 7 years old, I can promise you probably have a 10,000 person list. And it's probably from like the last 30 days.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, they haven't opened your email in the last 60 days. They're
not there. You're just collecting the status of the list. You're not.
And if you're mailing them, you're probably killing all
your
of your
deliverability.
Your deliverability.
This is hard. Like there's you know, when you're running ads, you're like, oh yeah, we're running ads at scale. Like what are you running? Oh, we're spending like $200 a day, making $500, $600. Bro, you got nothing. Once you do start ads at scale, guess what's gonna happen? You're trying to reach a bigger audience. Guess what that does? Increases all of your costs. Guess what that does? Lowers your conversions. Like all of this is difficult. Like there's a difficulty in all of it, but I think you and I just don't see them as difficulties. They're just part of like. They are getting punched in the face. That's part of our job.
Well, that
guy gets punched in the face.
You know, coming back to the beginning, we have trained ourselves, but we did not train ourselves by reading a book. Mm-mm. We did not train ourselves by going to a course or going to a mastermind, although all of that stuff is beneficial.
And we've gone to those things.
I know, and we still do. But none of those things in a silo by themselves in a vacuum are the answer. It's those things plus action and getting hit and call it failure, call it whatever you want to call it, but definitely getting put into a corner to where you definitely having those questions like, holy shit, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right? I mean, if you're not having those questions, you're certainly not pushing hard enough.
I think we also have...
And it's how you respond to those questions, by the way.
I also think we have a little bit of forever insecurity. Like, you're a super confident dude. I don't lack confidence. I'm also massively insecure, and I know that you have insecurities as well.
100%.
Like most of the time, I'm like, I kind of feel like I'm failing, or I kind of feel like I could be doing more. So I don't feel like, I crushed life. I'm like, how can I be doing better? But I'm not negative about it. I'm just like, what can I be improving on? Like, what can I be doing better as a leader, or now culture, or like whatever the case. But I'm never just sitting there being like, like we've got to figure it out. And I think big entrepreneurs that grow, I don't think they sit there and go like, well, this is kind of it, guys. You know, like I know people that are doing $100 million a year that are like losing it, that they don't have this, they don't have that. And it's not like losing, like they're grateful and they're happy, but they're not okay. They're
well, as Ed Milet
they're content but not satisfied.
Yeah. They are blissfully dissatisfied.
Right.
I'm grateful, but I know I've got more gas in my tank.
Right. And I think That's another thing of entrepreneurs, and that's why it's okay to go dark, because when they do, they're like, yeah, this is just like the start of the tank. Like then we're going back and back, and like there's no end. It's a forever road. You don't have an ending, you know. Like even if you made all the money,
And that's okay.
yeah. I mean, if you
Get okay with that.
if you made $1 billion tomorrow, you're gonna work.
Yeah.
You'd probably die if you didn't. The
The
average
game is the game.
Yeah, the average person that retires, I read it somewhere, but I'm gonna butcher this. I think they end up dying like a few years later, like 5, 6. Like,
By the way, they all end up dying.
statistically, that is true.
No, not only statistically, but in actuality, it is.
Yeah,
They all die.
That is a fact.
But I understand what you're saying. I'm just busting you. That people that don't have a purpose and a drive and ambition, I mean, a lot of times they just give up. I mean, I've seen it in my own life. People that I respect, and the moment that they kind of don't have something they have to do every day and keep pushing. So I definitely think, especially for entrepreneurs. I mean, if you've been working a manufacturing line for the last 30 years, that could be something completely different. But
Yeah.
man, entrepreneurs, the good entrepreneurs, we need that fuel. We need that challenge. We need that grit. We need to understand, and that comes from solving big problems, which you cannot solve problems without having challenges. It just is what it is.
So, what are 3 things you think people can focus on to try to become more resilient?
Put yourself in as many uncomfortable situations as you can. You know, improve your risk tolerance, number 1. Again, you're not going to get there. You cannot gain insight without action. You can't. And whether that's that marketing campaign or making that new hire or slowing down long enough to put automation and processes in place, stuff that's painful, right? That does not feel good when you're doing it. But if you ever want freedom, you have to do those things.
Yeah.
And understanding that whatever deficiencies you've got, you know, I'm a weak manager or whatever you're telling yourself, that in order to address it, there's going to be pain, but you have to, right? I think you got to do a lot of that. I think you also have to be, you know, absolutely investing in surrounding yourself with people that you can learn from and collapse time quickly. Get around people that matter, that are doing what you want to do. They are living the life that you want to live, setting the example, something that you can kind of just fall into their wake. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The worst part, I mean, I'm telling you to make mistakes, but I'm not telling you to make all the mistakes. I'm telling you, you know, learn from others' mistakes, but be prepared to
Still make mistakes.
pivot. Yeah, make your own mistakes, right? But there are clearly ways that you can mitigate mistakes. Masterminds, business coaching, you know, definitely leverage people to do that. Those are 2 big things I would do, right? And the last thing is, I think mentally, just keep, you know, preparing yourself, and there's always a conversation going on in our head, and that conversation can either feed us or it completely rip away all of our power. And I can tell you that it happens to me all the time, but I'm painfully aware of the conversation going on in my head, and as fast as I find myself allowing myself to give in to that dark side of it, like maybe I'm not cut out for this, maybe, you know, maybe I'm not as good as I think I am, all that kind of stuff, I work very hard to change that conversation quickly. And, you know, little nuances. This has not happened to me, but it happened for me. There's something as clever and as easy as that. Just that repositioning allows your mind to wrap around it, where it gives you your power back to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lesson here. I need to learn it. Like, I'm not a victim, right?
Yeah.
This didn't happen to me. It happened for me. And so I got to figure out what the lesson is, learn it quickly, and adapt, pivot, and move. Those are the kinds of things that I think are really helpful, at least for me personally. How about you?
I think be a little bit masochistic. I think actually pay attention to your mistakes and acknowledge them, and then make sure that you don't make that same mistake again. It's okay to make mistakes. I mean, I make a ton of mistakes. You always let me know about them very clearly and openly, and to a lot of people.
That's what friends.
Yeah, and
to a lot of people.
And
in big public crowds.
Yeah, and then, but I change and I pivot and I don't make the same mistake again. And then the last thing is just, you know, understand that it's going to take longer than you think. Whatever your goal is, it's probably going to take longer than you think. There's a few people that I know and you know that, like, all of a sudden skyrocketed to massive success. I know most people didn't.
That's good stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Good show. Go tag us in Instagram, right? Show us that you're watching. We're looking for us, and we're going to be doing a lot of free giveaways.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of giveaways, and we got a lot of stuff in store. So for myself and Kent and Truly, we should probably just start sponsoring us if they see this. That would be great.
I mean, I guarantee if we do it enough, we'll get their attention.
Catch me with another one tomorrow. All right, we will see you guys later.
Peace.